Good evening. I'm going to reconvene our meeting of the Escondido Union School District. Can I ask Sophia Luna to please come up to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sophie. All right, all members are present. We have a report out of closed session.
In closed session, the board took action to approve the appointment of Naomi Shanks to the assistant principal effective July 1st, 2026 by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you so much. Good evening, President Harper, Board, Dr. Ibarra, and Mr. McGuire. My name is Naomi Shanks, and I am delighted to accept the position of Assistant Principal at Del Dios Academy. I'm a career educator. I have 28 years of experience, most recently in Poway Unified, and I've also spent much of my career teaching multicultural communities overseas. I look forward to meeting the students, educators, and families of Del Dios. I'm grateful for the opportunity to partner with all of you and to join the EUSD family in actualizing the unlimited potential of every learner. I can't think of a more powerful mission, and I'm so proud to join Escondido. Thank you.
We just wanted to say welcome. We were hearing all about your accomplishments, and we're excited to have you in our district.
Additionally, in closed session, the board took action to approve the appointment of Michael Brinkley to assistant principal effective July 1st, 2026 by a vote of 5-0.
Full house, that's exciting. Good evening for those who know me. I'm sure you understand how meaningful this opportunity is, especially since I am, for the second time, attempting to publicly speak at a board meeting. As I usually do, I am going in an uncomfortable situation. I'm going to try and deflect the attention away from myself. I'm choosing to use my time to highlight and show gratitude to some important people. I will call them mentors. Many of them may not realize that the significant role they've played and the impact they've had on me during my over 20 years in EUSD. Every one of the names I'm about to mention have taken the time to support me in different ways while learning from them. I was challenged to do something different. I want to try this out. President Harper, the board, Dr. Ibarra, Mr. McGuire, and the cabinet, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, Brandy Krebs and the union crew. Randy Garcia, who was the first admin who hired me in Grant Middle School way back in the day. Angel Gotay, Cesar Carrasco, Ali Parvis, Steve White, Beth Crooks, Elise Jimenez, who was my last principal at Pioneer, who kept on motivating me to get back out there, and she was upset when I left Pioneer, but she's happy for me overall. Marissa Raw, Jason Retzky, and last but not least, the best school psych in the district, which I might be biased, my wife, Amber Brinkley. I'm excited, and hopefully we'll be able to add more names to this list in the coming future. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Michael, we are delighted to have you. Thank you again. All right, moving on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes? I'm looking for a motion then.
Move approval of the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
Thank you, Joan. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 agenda is approved. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Mark.
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Now on to our favorite part of the evening, our recognitions. I'm going to turn it over to Ed Services.
Good evening, Board President Harper. Yes, definitely one of our favorite parts of the evening. This evening is going to be even more special because we have 4 recognitions. So starting us off will be Rincon Middle School and Principal Tina Meglich.
Good evening, President Harper, Superintendent Dr. Ibarra, Mr. McGuire, members of the board and cabinet. My name is Tina Meglich, and I am honored to be the principal at Rincon Middle School, and I'm super excited to be here tonight. Before we get started with this special event, I'm thrilled to highlight some of the solid work that is happening at Rincon Middle School. Rincon is fully embracing student-centered learning, aligning learning with the USD framework for the future, and the district vision to actualize the unlimited potential of every learner. Our students are not just participants, they are growing in their leadership, demonstrating the EUSD learner profile and the attributes that you are going to see. And there we go. Okay. This year, our web leaders, or our Where Everyone Belongs, led the charge by mentoring and leading learning for all of our 6th graders. They fostered a vital sense of belonging and welcome through team building and special events, which directly supports our positive school climate. Meanwhile, our PUP leaders, or Peers Uniting Peers, demonstrated compassion and community commitment by mentoring our special populations during their elective classes. These PUP leaders created lasting connections, organized a student-led family art night this year, and hosted the first ever PUP prom, or dance, during 7th period for our special population students. These PUP leaders demonstrated their dedication to making a positive school impact as ethical scholars. Our AVID leaders showcased advanced learning by sharing their scholarly goals at the Avid College Fair. They leveraged their knowledge as empowered learners, taking their learning to the next level by leading our staff in creative ways to implement Wicker strategies in their classrooms. The capstone 8th grade excellence Americans on Display was an evening that not only showcased high quality work, but also the superior speaking skills of our students as they embodied the Americans that they researched and stepped into their shoes and spoke to an audience of families, teachers, community members, and students. It was an exceptional example of excellence and effective communication. But the ultimate charge to these student leaders was truly to lead our incoming 5th graders, or our future Bulldogs. This is precisely what they accomplished at our first ever Rincon Unleashed event. Webb, PUP, AVID, and ASB all put their leadership to action in creating the most meaningful day for these 5th graders. Our Webb and PUP leaders led student tours for over 300 students visiting, engaging all of our future Bulldogs in the life of the school and igniting their excitement for their transition to middle school. While they led, ASB and AVID participated in student panels and served as guides through our elective alley. Rincon is on a clear path to creating a culture of excellence, and I must say, Rincon is unleashing the unlimited potential of all of our learners. With that, it is time for what we are here for, and that is our Student Excellence Awards. I would like to call up Sophie Luna first. Sophie has been an exemplary student from the very first day she started school this year. Her incredible aptitude for course material, superior work ethic, and ever-curious mind are true pleasures to witness on a daily basis. In addition, her teachers can always count on her to turn in high-quality work, assist her peers when needed, and show bark in every classroom she steps into. She is a model student who any teacher would be privileged to have in their class. Congratulations, Sophie. The next student I'd like to recognize is 7th grade Joanna Diaz Sanchez. Come on up. Joanna truly exemplifies what it means to be an excellent student. She consistently demonstrates kindness, respect, and a strong work ethic in everything that she does. She completes all assignments with care and diligence, always striving to produce her very best work. Beyond her academic achievements, Joanna is a positive and supportive member of the classroom community. She willingly helps others, contributes thoughtfully, and fosters a respectful learning environment. She is confident in asking questions and seeking help when needed, showing a genuine commitment to growth. Joanna sets an outstanding example for her peers and consistently models excellence in both character and academics. Congratulations, Joanna. And I would like to call up Brisa Dominguez. Brisa's 8th grade, so a little bit longer with us. Brisa is a wonderful student who shines in all her classes. She is consistent in her academic excellence, and she fights for every single point. Brisa works well with others and supports a positive culture at Rincon. In advanced art, she is a valuable member of the mural art team, using her creative abilities to paint the semi-quincentennial mural, which was funded this year through the Escondido Education Foundation grant. As a member of the Rincon Middle School PUT program, she has been a part of that program since 6th grade. Brisa has shown kindness and generosity to the diverse students across our campus. We are confident she will continue giving back to the community in the high school that she attends. Congratulations, Brisa.
Thank you, Principal Meglich. Next up is Principal Crystal Miller with the Conway Academy of Expeditionary Learning.
President Harper, Dr. Barr, Mr. McGuire, members of the board and cabinet, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Crystal Miller, and I'm the incredibly proud principal of Conway Academy of Expeditionary Learning. I'd like to first begin by recognizing the incredible families and staff that are here tonight. Staff and families, please stand. I'd like to call up our students, 5th grader Bailey Guardado, 5th grader Oscar Zuniga, and 6th grader Maddox Rojas to stand next to me. So this is my first year as part of the Conway crew, and I'm so incredibly honored to be a Cougar. Many people are familiar with the Conway transformation and the partnership with EL Education, and we have lots of people here to thank for that transformation. So you can see some of our epic work that we do here on this slide. So a lot of people know about our student-led conferences, our ambassadors, our den, our crew circles, and of course, our Better World Day. Our Better World Day was especially epic this year. Thanks to an EL Media grant we won to produce a high-quality documentary about our Better World Week. A big shout out to our M&O and our grounds crew for their hard work to make our dreams a reality for our big day. Yes, give them snaps. The theme of this year's Better World Day was cultivating community. At Conway, we cultivate community through service learning, family engagement, and community partnerships. We are a proud community school. Through service learning, students see themselves as agents of change in the community. One of our school mottos is, "We get smart to do good." Framing our learning in the context of community and service bridges connections for our students, families, and community. Our work has authentic purpose. For example, our TK students learned about worms so they could work with our community partner, BCK, to create worm compost bins. They learned about worms to help people, plants, and the environment. In 5th grade, our students studied bridges and cultivating community by designing a bridge for students to cross on campus at the end of their Conway journey. Students work with experts in the field with Ranger Jim and Ranger Zoe to dive deep to create not only a beautiful space on campus, but a space of representation and symbolic passage. Our 6th graders created a book of recipes and writing based on the foods and traditions that are important to their family's culture. Students presented their work with stories of impact, author signings, live music, and a community potluck. The high-quality work of our students and their families was truly inspirational to witness, as students spoke confidently about their families' traditions. Our students come to Conway not just for an academic education, but also for an education in character and service learning. I wish I had time. I don't have time to share all the grade levels work, but I did want to share one final school-wide creation. This year, we built a labyrinth in our tiny forest. We work with district staff, Conway staff, Love ESCO volunteers, parents and students, and more to prime, paint, and place hundreds of beautifully decorated cinder blocks into a mindfulness center the whole school can use. I can't wait until the documentary comes out and you can see the magic firsthand. Thank you, and let's get to recognizing our incredible students. Oscar Zuniga is a shining example of excellence at Conway Academy. As a bilingual scholar, he consistently demonstrates perseverance, integrity, and a strong commitment to learning. Oscar approaches every challenge with determination and curiosity, while encouraging and supporting those around him with compassion. As a member of Conway's award-winning STEM team, he showcases creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking skills while representing Conway with pride and making a positive impact on others as a scholar and active citizen. Congratulations, Oscar. Next up, Bailey Guardado is a leader at Conway in both character and academic effort, and another proud member of Conway's STEM team. She consistently pushes herself toward excellence and possesses an intrinsic motivation for learning. Whether she's making deep connections between her personal experiences and her class learning, thoughtfully searching for just the right vocabulary to strengthen her writing, or tackling above grade level mathematics with determination and curiosity, Bailey approaches every challenge with purpose and passion. Beyond her academic accomplishments, Bailey's greatest strength lies in her ability to listen and in her genuine desire to use her knowledge to make the world a better place. Congratulations, Bailey. And last up for Conway's, Maddox Rojas. If you know Maddox, you know he is the living definition of what it means to get smart to do good. Maddox somehow manages to balance the mind of a scholar and the heart of a leader. Not only does Maddox demonstrate excellence and perseverance through the caliber of his high-quality work and impressive GPA, but he also consistently shows integrity, kindness, and compassion toward his teachers, peers, and our Conway staff. He cares deeply about the people around him and even started a lunch club where sixth graders could reflect on their actions, encourage one another, and work toward making the world a better place. Congratulations, Maddox.
Thank you, Principal Miller. Next up is Principal Jose Hernandez from Lincoln Elementary School.
Good evening, President Harper, Dr. Ibarra, Mr. Andy McGuire, members of the board and cabinet. It is a pleasure to be the principal at Lincoln Elementary School. This is my first event here to present our students for Excellence Awards. I want to highlight a few events. There has been many highlights this year as a new principal at Lincoln Elementary School. I couldn't fit all the events in one slide. I was told I could only use one slide, but I do want to highlight one of the main events that happened in on December 16, 2025. So as you know, around our city or our district, sometimes students get awarded with new bikes. So on Tuesday, December 16, 2025, every third grader at Lincoln Elementary School received a brand new bike, a helmet, a light. This was due to the generous donations from the Sunrise Rotary and the Escondido Police Department and Friends of the Sunrise Rotary. They were the ones who assembled and delivered the bikes. Students were very surprised and overjoyed. Many had expected only one student per class to win the top prize for the essay on the theme, My Big Dream. The event brought smiles, tears of joy, and cheers, creating a lasting memory and a strong sense of belonging to our third graders. Another big highlight this year for our school, as part of the redesign process, we began something called Dance. So on Thursday, November 13, 2025, we held our first dance kickoff and launched our multi-age dance classes. Students moved smoothly into their mixed grade circle groups and showed high engagement. Staff comments included, students were excited and arrived on time. Older students respectfully supported younger peers. Everyone participated respectfully during the sharing, and leads took pride in guiding their groups. Recent dance lessons celebrated our school's linguistic diversity by inviting students to share when and where they use the languages they speak, at home, with friends, at school, and in the community. These two events that I'm highlighting for you, our bike giveaway and the dance launch, filled Lincoln students with smiles and strengthened community, belonging, and unity across grade levels. As a new principal, my job has been to try to build a community at the school and build a strong sense of community for our students as well. So going forward, I'm going to present our student awards. So I'm going to ask our three students to come up. I'm going to first call Jaden Gaspar to please come up and stand next to me. Jaden Gaspar contributes to our broader Escondido community through his spirited commitment to athletics, as demonstrated by participation on baseball, soccer, and rugby teams. Though he participates in these activities with great skill, even more commendable is his dedication to the principles of sportsmanship, which he constantly demonstrates both on and off the playing field. In particular, his integrity and compassion contribute to a positive environment at Lincoln School that all can benefit from. Jaden's exemplary character is a testament to the transformative impact of involvement in team sports. Congratulations, Jaden. The next student I want to call up is Brian Cruz Gomez. Brian Cruz Gomez is a third grade student. Brian is a hardworking student who gives his best effort in everything he does. He's a tech-savvy and confident student who uses technology to learn, create, and solve problems. He often supports his classmates with technology even when they don't ask, showing kindness and strong teamwork. His positive attitude and willingness to try make him a true joy to have in class. Congratulations, Brian. Okay, my next student I'm going to invite up is Eden Abarca Collin. Eden is being recognized for his outstanding growth and perseverance this school year. He has worked hard to develop positive learning habits and approaches our classroom tasks with more confidence and determination. In addition to his academic growth, Eden has shown significant strides in his personal growth. He has learned to advocate for himself and is beginning to support and encourage his classmates, reflecting stronger social and leadership skills. Congratulations, Eden.
Thank you, Principal Hernandez. And now I'd like to call up our wonderful preschool coordinator, Lorraine Silva.
Good evening, President Harper and board members, Superintendent Dr. Ibarra, Mr. Andy, and Cabinet. My name is Lorraine Silva, and I am I have the pleasure of being the coordinator for the state preschool program. This is my 6th year, and I'm still loving it. As I thought about what I wanted to say tonight, the word that kept coming up to me was change. And as we know that change is a natural part of growth, and there is no better preschool example of that than the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Just like the caterpillar, our preschool program has experienced tremendous growth, transformation, and change. At the heart of this transformation are our dedicated permitted teachers and our classified paraeducators. And I'd like to thank those staff and our families that are here tonight. If you could please stand and be recognized. All of our staff and families, please. Thank you. At the start of each school year, we enter a season of change and opportunity. This year, we implemented a brand new curriculum. We worked with the updates and transitions with the new PTKLF, as we call it, the Preschool and TK Learning Foundations, saw an expansion of our inclusive practices, and added art and music enrichment. This past year, our preschool program expanded not only in numbers, but in opportunity and inclusion. Using our Prop 28 funds, we were able to add an enrichment program for our students that includes art and music. With the help of our enrichment teacher, Ms. Medina, we participated in this year's Smart Festival for the very first time. It was great to hear all of the positive comments from the families, and it was great to see the excitement in our students' eyes as they showed off all of their wonderful talents. One of our biggest accomplishments this year has been the development of 2 co-teach classrooms alongside our special education department. These classrooms reflect our commitment to ensuring that every child belongs, every child is supported, and every child can thrive. Our enrollment reached 309 students this year, which is the most that we have seen in the 6 years that I have been with the program. Within those 309 students, we know that every child in our program brings their own strengths, personality, and character to our classrooms. Just as every butterfly's journey is unique, we know that every child is unique. So tonight, I am honored to recognize 3 outstanding student nominees who represent the joy, growth, and potential we see in preschool every day. So I'd like to call up first Matias. Come on up, Matias. Our first student is Matias Martinez Enciso from Pioneer State Preschool. Matias has shown tremendous growth this year, especially in following classroom routines and transitions. One of his biggest accomplishments has been in his speech and communication skills. He now communicates more clearly with both peers and teachers, using more complex words and expressing himself with confidence. He loves participating in class by raising his hand, as you saw right now, and patiently waiting for his turn. He stays engaged in classroom themes and activities and is always eager to learn. He is also incredibly helpful and kind, often assisting teachers and classmates by cleaning tables, picking up toys, and showing friends what to do. When challenges arrive, Matias tries to solve them on his own and then seeks help from an adult when needed. We are so proud of the wonderful progress he has made and the caring, thoughtful student he continues to become. Congratulations, Matias. Next, I would like to call up Julian Leonardo Zuniga from Lincoln State Preschool. Julian is a creative problem solver who works through challenges with creativity and persistence, whether completing puzzles, building with manipulatives and blocks, or helping a peer who is upset. He approaches each situation with care and kindness. Julian communicates respectfully with both peers and teachers, always offering kind words and helpful actions throughout the day. Thank you, Julian, for being a thoughtful, caring, and helpful student. And now, Dylan Leon Hernandez. Come on up, Dylan. Yay. Dylan is always responsible and looks out for others, often stepping in to help classmates or make sure everyone stays on track. He is intelligent and thoughtful, asking insightful questions and putting real effort into understanding what he learns. He consistently follows class rules and sets a positive example, showing maturity and respect in everything he does. We are so proud of Dylan's leadership, thoughtfulness, and the positive examples he brings to our classroom each day. Congratulations, Dylan. Where's your sweater? You're right under the...
Thank you, Coordinator Silva. Wonderful job. Next up, I'd like to call up Dr. Patrick Newton, who's going to recognize some amazing teachers as well as some programs that were recently recognized during the Community Advisory Committee for their Excellence in Special Education Awards. Take it away, Dr. Newton.
I mean, how do you follow that up? I feel so underdressed. Good evening, President Harper, Board of Education, Dr. Ibarra, Mr. McGuire, and Cabinet. Every year, the North Inland Special Education Local Planning Area's Community Advisory Council, a group of special education stakeholders from throughout North County, San Diego, gets together to celebrate those who go above and beyond to serve individuals with disabilities. This year, EUSD has 2 teachers and 1 incredible program who are deserving of this award. On May 18th, 2026, Tanner Bolin from Bear Valley Middle School and Pete Fisher from Del Dios Academy of Arts and Sciences were celebrated in a virtual ceremony. But here in EUSD, we would prefer to publicly humiliate them on camera. Pete, would you like to come up here, please? Unfortunately, Tanner was not able to come tonight. He's getting the student-led coffee cart ready for a Friday morning at Bear Valley. But a little bit about Tanner. He teaches our students with extensive support needs at Bear Valley Middle School. Since the first day he walked onto campus, he's created an inclusive environment for our students. His supportive and engaging learning environment helps students grow academically, but also develop invaluable practical life skills as they strive towards long-term independence. Tanner closely monitors student goals, provides individualized support, and encourages students to reach their full potential through patience, encouragement, and high expectations. Please honor Tanner Bolin from Bear Valley Middle School. All right, ready? All right. Pete Fisher has served in many roles throughout his long and distinguished career in the Escondido Union School District. Everywhere he's gone, he's made a lasting positive impact. Currently teaching in the Structured Communication, Social and Behavioral, or SCSB program at Del Dios Academy, Pete supports students with autism by building authentic relationships with students and families and creating engaging lessons based on unique student interests. His classroom provides a supportive environment where students can successfully navigate middle school, sometimes a scary place for all of us, including us adults. Pete was nominated by one of his families as they appreciate and value his advocacy, compassion, and commitment to student success. As an organization and as a community, we are incredibly proud and deeply admire Pete Fisher. Yes, you may. All right. I'm also pleased to recognize our partners at the NYSER SELPA and celebrate the inclusive state preschool programs at Central Elementary and Oak Hill Elementary School. These co-taught programs bring together preschool teachers, special education staff, and paraeducators to create meaningful inclusion opportunities for all students. The vision of this program is to increase meaningful and effective inclusion experiences for our early childhood programs. The practical application of the classroom staff is to combine educational best practices embedded in our state preschool program with creative and compassionate support for our students with unique needs. For those of us who have been lucky enough to be in these classes, we can all attest this type of education reaffirms our commitment to meaningfully including our students with disabilities, not because it's easy, but because it's the right thing to do. These amazing professionals regularly tackle challenges of serving all students with a solid resolve and unrelenting compassion. Here to represent the classroom staff this evening, from Oak Hill, we have Maria Alvarez and Yuredi Gallardo. We also have our intrepid administrators who help supervise and support this program, our coordinator of EUSD State Preschool, Lorraine Silva. And our special education program specialist, Natalie Muldoon. Thank you very much.
Patrick, can you have everyone come back up? We need pictures. Oh, too bad.
Overruled.
We lied. I wanted to thank all the families for being here tonight and choosing EUSD for us to teach your children and have them be our future leaders. We thank you for that trust. And for our teachers and staff who are here tonight and have taken the time out of their evenings to be here to support your students, I really appreciate it. Students, please tell your parents you need to go to Yogurtland tonight to celebrate. You have a coupon. But everyone, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and you are all welcome to go home and do your homework or get some rest before a big day tomorrow. Maybe they just, oh, there we go. We are going to reconvene this meeting. All right. On to public comments. I have one card from Gwen Smith. If you'd like to come to the podium, please. Thank you.
Only speaker. Thank you, Cabinet. Thank you, Board President Harper and Superintendent Ibarra, and also to you, Andy. Thank you for letting me speak. We have a principal that is moving on to a new opportunity, and that is Michael Reichel. And I could not in good conscience let him go without sharing his name, because you have done some great hiring in your careers, and Randy Garcia was already brought up this evening, and Leela also has a heart with love and kindness, and Michael Reichel is right up there at the top of my experience working in this district and teaching 20 years. And I just want to say the environment that he created with his passion for education and the knowledge that he brings was inspirational, and the inclusive and professional environment that he brought. And we know teaching's hard, right? But when you have a leader that creates a teaching environment that supports teachers, like you can ask him questions, have really tough conversations, and he supports that and welcomes you, really grow as an educator in that environment. So I know that he came in with a varied background, and it's really nice to promote within, and I definitely encourage that. It's great. But also I love the fact that he brought a different background of different districts and areas, which I think makes our district stronger with different ideas. And so he's going to be missed still a lot, and I know that change happens, and I'm excited for Del Dios and what will happen. But again, just hats off to Michael Reichel. And one person that had made a comment to me was that he was the first principal that she could talk to and feel comfortable having those honest conversations. And I concur with that. I mean, you want to be able to grow as an educator, and you need a leader that supports you and has those safe environments to help you, and he did that. So Michael Reichel, thank you, and I'm excited for your next adventures, and thank you for being someone that will last. Your legacy will last with us, and it's going to live on with us, so thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Gwen. CSEA on this ACE week.
Hi, everyone. Once again, we are here to entertain the public. I'm kidding. Sorry. Let me breathe. Hello, everyone. My name is Noemi. I am the president of CSEA Chapter 150. And this week, we celebrated the best week, which is Classified School Employees Week. I mean, not to take away from the certificated staff, but it is a really fun week because we celebrate in a way it's called ACE, which is Appreciating Classified Employees. And it's an opportunity for those in a leadership position to shadow classified staff. And by what we gathered today during the luncheon, everybody had a good time. Everybody enjoyed either being shadowed or shadowing. Some work was done around schools. We'll have to double check if that was done correctly, Mr. Smith. Some stucco was put up on a wall somewhere. But yes, no, I'm very thankful to those in leadership positions, many of them here, who did participate. And for those who were unable to participate, because some people were not able to be shadowed, but I am very thankful for everyone who signed up, who took the time to get to know, what our classified staff do every day. Oh, where's this mic? It's on. And then to our classified staff who were brave enough to allow those in leadership to shadow them. It is pretty nerve-wracking for some of them. Some of them did share that, where, well, what about if they figure out that I, maybe do too much or do too little? So it is a concern. So from that, they've now said that, hey, I'm going to encourage my friends to do it. And I'm like, yeah, and it could be like a whole fun lunch thing. So I encourage anybody who's watching, either in a leadership position or classified, to consider it for next year. We do have a good time. There was goodie bags at the end. And I do want to thank our coordinator of preschool, who actually worked with our printing department to create the stickers, cut them out. She did a wonderful job. So I'm very thankful. Thank you to everyone. And I guess since it's May and we're getting closer to June, I do want to shout out Dr. Ibarra because I know it's moving quickly. As the SCA, we want to recognize the work that you've done to bring us together and to keep those open door policies and for transferring that goodwill that you have with the unions over to the rest of your cabinet and to the school board. I am very thankful for that. It is years of hard work, and Andy's already doing a great job. So I am very thankful for everything that you've put into place that will now continue. Your legacy will also live on, and we're very thankful for you. And hopefully we get to see you come around every now and then, maybe part of the shadow program as a retiree, I'm just hint, hint. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Too soon.
Nutrition department. A shout out to the nutrition department. It's not that I forget you, but my brain, but they did an amazing job as ever, as always. They keep me accountable, and they just make things work, just like magic. They just come in, everything looks like magic. So thank you to nutrition, and also thank you to the social committee here at the district office. Oh my gosh, the decor, they even did papel picado. I mean, the work that everybody does, the dedication that they put forth, very thankful for everybody's time. Thank you.
Triple EA?
I'm afraid of this thing hitting me in the face. All right, so most of you know me. I'm Andrea Sima, Community School Specialist, MTSS. We got to figure out the name over at Orange Glen. I have FOMO now, Noemi. I'm jealous. Why don't we get to participate in ACE Week? I want to shadow somebody special like that. Like Mario over at Rincon. That would be fabulous. I want to know what he does in a day, because I know it's like too much, as any custodian we have in our district. Nellie is fabulous too, but I have worked with her and she just makes me tired. All right, so thank you for taking the time. Board Trustee, TTEE, Doug Paulson, and Joan Gardner, for attending our first annual Orange Glen Open School event last night, so I'm a little tired. The wonderful event occurred because you had someone on a campus, 16 schools can do this, right, that can spend the time to develop community resources and bring them onto our campuses. What our families want is on our campuses. We need to bring them on our campuses. If you ask most teachers, they're going to tell you they want the parents on the campuses. So that's what we're really supposed to be doing, is bringing our parents and our community onto our campuses. I'm going to keep saying that. So I want to thank again Doug and Joan for coming last night and participating in our first annual event. And Mr. McGuire, thank you. I appreciate you for your continued conversation and presence on our campuses. It shows your desire to embrace community school events in the future. And I hope to see other board members and cabinet members attend not just mine, because you're all going to be invited, but other MTSS community school events, because we should be happening as canned events at every campus. It took a lot of work to get all those resources and all those people to come to a place, because it's not just about having the contact, you also have to get their information and then get that information to the district office and in a timely manner. And they have to have the insurances, and they have to have the FREVO forms, and we don't always have access to that information. We have to ask the right people for that information. So it may look like, oh my gosh, that was such a wonderful event, but it took a lot of time and energy. And I just want to make sure that we kind of can these events, which means someone else can just take my information and take it to their school and invite them. But they shouldn't have to go through all the background information. It should just happen, because it shouldn't have to happen 9 million times, the information being shared. We need to figure out a better way. And so I'm here to talk for all MTSS and all of our family liaisons who are going to eventually take this on from us when our community school money goes away. This has to continue. And so that's my role, is to bring sustainability to this position. So I hope to see more of you come to the events that we will have in the future. We will have more, not just at mine, like I said, but at other campuses in the next 3 years and maybe further on of the grant. Remember, we have 16 schools. So you should be attending at least one of these events a year, maybe 2 at a site. So that's the goal, is trying to get everybody on our campuses. And that also includes everybody else, right? So if you're a director or a coordinator, you should be expected to be invited to these events too. We need to get everybody on the campuses, because if you're not on our campuses, you don't know what's happening. And a lot of us as teachers think that people are disconnected because you're not present. And guess where the presence exists? On a school campus. Where does it really matter? Where the kids are. And we had over 500 people come last night. That was more than I expected, and I'm very humble and very proud of what happened last night, but I just want to say it has to happen everywhere. So our schools also appreciate your approval tonight of the climate and culture journey that Orange Glen is going to be journeying on next year. And I also want to mention, I don't think that they're here right now, but I really want to plug out for Pete Fisher and Tanner Bolin. Fabulous, fabulous individuals, and the accomplishment as award winners in our SELPA. I mean, yeah, we gave them a great, hurrah, but we really need to be lifting them up, because our district does have very special, special people. And I just want to say that Pete Fisher is going to have my para as a P3 resident next year. And I am extremely proud of Alex Vega for taking that journey, because he was very nervous about this. It was his first year with me. He didn't know if he really liked it, but then he learned to love it. And I had a very hard 8th grade class, and he became extremely good at what he was doing. And now he's going to be a P3 under Pete Fisher. So look out for Alex Vega. He's going to bring a lot of passion, and his mom works in our district too. So we're bringing up a family here. And I just want to say, yes, be prepared for lots of invites, because this isn't going away. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All written communications have been distributed. And now on to our consent agenda. Does anyone have any items they have questions on or would like to pull? Otherwise, I'm looking for a motion.
Move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Thank you, Joan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you so much. On to Business Services, Community Facilities District.
So every year, we already have a community facilities district with several developments included that have been added from previous board items, board meetings. This is the annual item that, if approved, allows the county to collect those taxes, and we have to do this every year. And so that's before you, is to approve the collection of the taxes for another year of our CFDs.
Thank you. Any questions on that? This is just the renewal. of it. And do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to
Thank you,
approve.
Mark.
Second.
Thank you, Doug. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Passes 4-1. On to the iPads with business services.
Okay. Now what's before you is another of our leases for iPads to refresh our iPads that are 7, 8, and 9 years old, that are beyond support, so they no longer can be updated for security and things like that. And if they remained operational, it would be a hole in our security infrastructure. And so this would be a 4-year lease for 3,500 or so, 3,350 iPads to refresh those 7, 8, and 9-year iPads.
So I do have a question on this. There has been a tremendous amount of discussion in the community in a variety of places about the appropriateness of screen time, of technology use in the classroom. There's a lot of research that's been coming out surrounding that. I understand we need to refresh these. I'm not objecting to that, but I'm wondering if this would be an appropriate time for us to form some sort of a subcommittee, a district subcommittee, or a district committee, just to come up with recommendations to do some deep, extensive research on the entire screen time technology use thing. I understand right now we're sort of committed to all grades using this. It appears that such a committee might uncover some information about whether that is appropriate at the younger grades. So I'm just wondering if this is an appropriate time to ask for such a committee, and if there's any other interest in it.
Yeah, I echo Mr. Paulson's, just at least having the discussion, and having been in the safety committee conversation, and I think Ms. Seema has brought that up, as well as many other staff members. I think many people are nodding their heads over there, and I recognize it, as well as speaking to several parents and just reading about a lot of things. So I would hope that we would be able to have a conversation about the appropriateness of this topic and how we as a district are utilizing this technology. There's a place for it, but the amount, the time, and the place, I do think a handle needs to be gotten a hold of in this day and age, and a plan and a place I think is appropriate. So whether it's a committee or how we do that, I think a plan needs to be in place. So I echo the conversation. Whether it's on this dais at this time, I'm not sure that's necessary, but I would hope, and Mr. McGuire would work with the staff, because I do believe this is a real challenge, and I would like to support the teachers and the staff in addressing this topic.
And I agree. Absolutely. I think we're all in agreement. We'd like to see a subcommittee to really work on this and have a district help shape the district's future.
But now my question is, and this is more of a, because such a committee is not agendized, is that something we can simply ask to bring back to establish at the next board meeting?
Okay, so later on this agenda, there's an item before you to establish a board subcommittee. And so when we go through that, you'll see the process. It would be agendized. It could be agendized on the next board meeting, absolutely. And we would replicate the process that we're going to go through here later tonight to establish the board subcommittee. And I feel like it probably should be a board subcommittee with up to 2 board members on it, as well as staff, stakeholders. So there's 2 different versions of a subcommittee, but one that includes the board and stakeholders, which include families, parents, staff, teachers, classified staff, administration as well, to explore. So I think we're all in agreement about the use of technology and trying to kind of come out of the era that we went into where technology was the only way to do things, and now get back to where education adjusts back to technology can be a tool, but not necessarily is it the entirety of the educational experience. And so we need to have that committee, I believe, to start exploring and to drive the direction of the district when it comes to our use of technology. Absolutely.
So then I believe we've got 5 individuals saying that we'd like to see that
Yep.
on the next agenda. And with that, I will move approval of whichever item this one is.
Oh, wait, hold on.
The approval of the 4-year lease, yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Just one more comment. Having worked in government my entire career and served on numerous subcommittees, my concern with that is subcommittees take forever and nothing gets done a lot of times. So I would caution, not that I'm opposed to a subcommittee, but I would hope that there is very specific timelines, because I don't want to see this take 18 months. I don't think it needs to take 18 months. I think there's data. I think there's examples all throughout. It was only 6 years ago we weren't doing this. I don't think it needs to take a very long time to replicate what we know is working. And so I think there's districts that are doing this all throughout the country. They've already made this pivot. I would hope that if there's a subcommittee, it's very tight, it's very focused and efficient, and that we can implement this not in 27 or 28, that we can make changes quickly and give the teachers the tool to get a little bit more control, and most importantly, give our students the ability to actually make progress in the areas that we've seen these deficiencies. You know, Joan talks about cursive and handwriting, and these are deficiencies that we're seeing all over the place, and these are not things that take a lot of time to correct. And so I would hope that, and caution, subcommittees in general public agencies oftentimes don't yield results very quickly, and I would like to see that not be the case in this circumstances. I don't think it has to be. So with that, I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Mark. So I have a.
And I understand we've got a motion on the floor. However, so you're saying you want to see dates for a report with recommendations from the subcommittee probably within the next 6 weeks?
Well, what we could do is when we bring it at the next meeting, we could have who, you know, kind of establish who would be included on the subcommittee, I would assume.
Yes.
And we could meet and example deadlines of what to be discussed and determined.
The item for this, to establish the subcommittee, will be on the next agenda, and then the work begins. And I don't, to Mr. Olson's point, yeah, we're not talking about, this is not set up or being set up as a way to delay the progress or in any way, shape, or form. We need to be thoughtful, though, in the evolution that led us to here, that we're being thoughtful when we're adjusting our practices across the district, across 23 schools. 14,000 students, that we're being thoughtful in how we're evolving out of that. That doesn't mean that it has to be an evolution that takes years or a long time to do. We just need to be thoughtful. That's why bringing together representatives from the board, representing the community, other parents representing their students, our staff representing their students and their educational programs at our schools, to just be very thoughtful in what we're going to do going forward, so that we come out of this with a very good educational program with focus on there being less of the technology and more of all of the things that you spoke about.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, so I have a first from Doug, a second from Mark. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. On to you, Frank.
Action upon student reinstatement case number 2025-26-301. Motion to accept the recommendation of reinstatement.
Second. Thank you, Joan. Doug, how do you vote?
Aye.
Joan? Aye. Frank?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I vote aye as well.
Action upon student reinstatement case number 2025-2602. Motion to accept recommendations of reinstatement.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Doug, how do you vote?
Aye.
Joan? Aye. Frank?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Passes 5-0. Last one.
Action upon student stipulated expulsion case 2025-2605. Motion to accept recommendation of expulsion to December 18th, 2026.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Doug. Doug, how do you vote?
Aye.
Joan? Aye. Frank?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Passes 5-0. On to Superintendent's Office, establishment of the Mural Review Subcommittee.
So let's practice for the upcoming technology subcommittee now. So over in the past, for many years before I got here, it's been a practice where murals in this district, especially those, specifically those painted directly onto our walls of our buildings, require board approval. And it's been a practice, and in this case, we want to formalize this because we have a bunch of murals, and there's an interest in moving forward with lots of murals across the district. But also caught up in the practice of anything painted directly onto the walls of the school being board approved gets caught up into things like, for instance, the Quantum Academy just received the California Distinguished School Award. And coming with that, now we're able to put the seal of that on the school. You see that at many schools that have that recognition, and that would have been something to come before the board. Or, for instance, the L.R. Green Foundation is wanting to fund some school name and logo graphics on their school. Recently, a year ago, we painted on the little wall in front of Bear Valley, like it says Bear Valley there with their logo. And so what I'm saying is that when we establish the mural, I'd like to split out where things like that are school logo specific are something that doesn't necessarily have to go into a subcommittee for review, and we'll get into the subcommittee here in a second, but that just be separated out. School logo, school name specific painting is something that we would do professionally and do it and be able to do that with cabinet approval and our facilities maintenance department being a part of that process. Now, as far as the murals that would be a part of this subcommittee that's before you, if you agree with that, would be those artistic expression type murals, and that those would be requiring board approval, and that would go into this subcommittee that, in this item, the recommendation is to have 2 board members, myself, or a designee if I'm not available for a meeting, and also our maintenance director, who currently is Brian Morris, sitting over there, because of the involvement of painting on the walls, and we want to make sure we have the expert people that are involved in that work. And this subcommittee would then take on there'll be a process to submit renderings of what a mural you would like it to look like, whoever's wanting to do it, and then that would be then discussed in this subcommittee, and then that recommendation to the board for approval or denial out of that subcommittee. And so I know there's some conversations that I think you might want to have around that, but this item would establish that subcommittee with the 2 members. You pick your members, the other 2 being myself and the maintenance director, and then if you want to talk about kind of this is practice for the technology one for sure, how you want to see that subcommittee go in the purview of it. So
I'm at the end of the table. I'll kick this off. When we're talking about murals and artwork on our walls, I think there's a larger situation here. I think what I would like to expand this idea out with is that this subcommittee would first of all come up with a public art policy, a proposed policy for the board to go through with public comment, so that there's no perception of arbitrary decisions being made. How long is the artwork going to be up? What is going to be the required student involvement? Because this artwork needs to be student-centered if it's at a school. But also, how long is it going to be there for? There is a lot to be said for the school campus, and the artwork on it belongs to the students who are at the school at that time. We don't want to put up any sacred cows. The artwork went up during my time at Orange Glen High School when I was a student there in 1981, and it can never come down. So there have been issues at other schools, exactly that situation, where the school is being not allowed to replace a piece of art because it was done literally 45 years ago, and you know, it no longer reflects the school in any way. So there's just a lot of different aspects to this, plus what are the topics gonna be? How is the funding, how are we going to be funding these things? Where is that money gonna come from? And there's just a lot of different aspects to this. So I would like to see a comprehensive policy surrounding this with a deadline, you know, so that we can have something in place prior to the opening of next school year. And I would just propose that that be added to the purview of this proposal tonight.
So Doug, I just heard you volunteer for the committee.
Murals can be an absolute nightmare. And having overseen the putting up of 6 of them, and now finding out that there's drug symbolism in one of the ones that has been up for 7 years, there's a lot of pitfalls. You know, so we just need to be very cautious. There is an absolute beautiful commercial mural at Conway Elementary, but it was put up using plywood. And we've got to understand, we put up a piece of art on plywood with a internationally famous artist. The plywood does not last longer because the artist is internationally famous, and the rain will indeed fray the edges and destroy it. So there's a lot more to this than painting on the side of a wall. And my big thing is, this needs to be student-centered. If you put me on the committee, I can guarantee you that, you know, it screams ELOP to me, because there's a lot to visualizing a mural, learning about them, learning about the symbolism, then designing it, and then actually placing the mural. And in my opinion, that needs to be done by the students, and yes, you can have kindergartners helping with that. So, I mean, that's just my thing. What I would hate to see is for us to be hiring commercial artists to come in and put up their vision, and there's always a pressure to do that on school campuses.
And you brought up an interesting point about the mural at Conway. My point was, and I was going to ask, was at Orange Glen, the mural that was put up when you were in high school, is that refreshed on a regular basis, or has it lasted?
It was last refreshed in 1985, and and the high school district is just under incredible pressure from the alumni to never take it down.
But they do need to be refreshed periodically because they do get weather beaten, so that's another consideration. But I think it's a good conversation for a committee to have as well.
I agree.
I mean, we don't have to, there could be a great rush, every school will want a mural now, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It has to be a commitment to maintaining it as well and funding it. So they're all good questions, Doug. And as I said, I think you're a perfect person for that committee, because you bring another perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also love murals, by the way. Don't anybody think I don't want murals. I want
Absolutely.
murals. I just want students doing them.
And I think it's a great opportunity to really have a district policy for, like a board policy for it, so everyone's on the same page, again, so there's no confusion on what the expectations are and what the parameters are.
There was a practice for a while of the students doing tiles. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And my youngest son has one in Great Big Park, actually, and I found it, and one of my grandsons found his brothers at Bernardo. So I know that the kids love, even when they grow up.
Absolutely.
They like to go back and look for them. That's a nice thing. And having part in the mural, that would be something else to be proud of.
And help the whole thing. Any other questions? Okay, so are we just moving approval, or are you looking for members?
So a couple of things. So the first thing I said when we talk about murals, it doesn't take a vote, it's not up for vote, but just as the consensus of the board, that a mural is that more expression of art, but school imagery, where it's the school logo, the school name, is that something that you would want to have included in this, or can we split that out?
I think that would be part of the policy.
Okay.
To me, but I also think that if we've got things that need to go up right away, that.
There's
it
just
might
two
be-
projects that are before us that I'm talking about, and that's at LR Green and their NPR is the school name and their school logo that the foundation wanted to fund doing, and then the California Distinguished School Seal to go on the Quantum Building. And so those, to me, don't seem like murals, are more like.
I would concur with that.
Right.
I would say with cabinet can make that decision.
And our practice before has been if it gets painted on the wall, it comes to board. And so so instead of holding up those types of projects, we can get started on that. But what goes into the committee are those expressives. There's also another for the foundation wants to do LR Green, which is some trees and whatnot imagery, and it's kind of mural-esque. And so I think that stays with the committee. The part of their project that's just the school name, school logo, doesn't stay with the committee. That's something the cabinet, I think that's what I'm looking for, consensus, that those types of things. And of course, you would check Friday updates and things like that, just so you can make sure, like, that's something, no, I think that really belongs on the committee, give you a chance to have input on that for sure. But when we're talking about the expressive art, that would definitely be there. And I'm part of the recommendation here that's on the screen, on your screens, to supporting this committee would support a collaborative and transparent review process. I think having a policy is the way that you do that. And it's obviously your purview to create board policy and to have us come back to you with board policies for you to discuss and vote on. And also as part of this, considerations in this would be like the long-term maintenance is in there, the placement, the messaging, the design, all of that would be part of the purview of the subcommittee and their analysis to determine, is this an approved mural? Does there need to be and I think that part of this could look like is that whoever's wanting to do the mural from the school site could come and present to the subcommittee, or even do that just by giving the documents, or come and actually present to the subcommittee there. And there could be a back and forth if there are, conversations about the final design of the mural. So tonight's item would be to establish that, and in the process of establishing it, then assigning two members, maximum of 2 members, to the subcommittee from the Board of Education.
Okay. Is everyone okay with that? Okay. So we'll make a motion to approve it, and then we'll ask who would like to join the committee. And then we'll fight it out.
But are we in agreement that one of the first deals this
the
committee
policy.
is going to do is the policy?
Yes.
And then the ongoing work will be the actual approvals?
Yes.
I think the right thing to do is to create a policy. That's how we provide a collaborative and transparent review process and establish that. So there isn't a feeling of arbitrary decision-making. I think there needs to be a policy. We're missing that policy here.
Excellent. So do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Thank you, Doug. Do I have a second? Thank you, Joan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Now, is there any volunteers? Doug? Okay, I'll volunteer too. Anyone else? Okay, so it'll be Doug and I on the subcommittee.
Mark, I see that you've had a lot of experience with murals and you're actively not volunteering.
He's a smart one.
I've stated my thoughts on subcommittees previously in this meeting, and we don't need to get into murals either.
Do you want a subcommittee
Of which I
on
have
subcommittees?
feelings of.
And Mr. Olson, I will say that one of the first things the subcommittee is going to do is put a due date on the policy.
Yes.
At a minimum, the policy needs to be done.
You know I hate wordsmithing. We can get that done quickly. Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, first, I'm absolutely. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, moving on. Superintendent's office, employment contract.
Okay. So tonight we have 2. The first one, as you guys voted and appointed Michelle Cagle to be the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services effective July 1st. This is now the actual contract for that. And so this contract is a term starting July 1st of 2026 through June 30th of 2029 at a salary on the existing Assistant Superintendent salary schedule, $204,463. And so that's what's up for vote here tonight.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Joan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Back to you.
All right, and this one actually comes with a little bit of an extra. So this is not just a renewal of existing assistant superintendent's contract, but actually a promotion. And within this contract is the promotion of Audrey Frank from Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources to the Deputy Superintendent of Human Resources to be my right hand. Same term, July 1st, 2026 through June 30th of 2029 on the Deputy Superintendent salary schedule for an amount of $214,689. So that would be up for vote for you now.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Thank
Second.
You. Thank you, Mark. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to board reports. And Doug, since you are at the end of the row, let's get us started, please.
All right, well, attended the honoring our own retirement ceremony and the ceremony for years of service out in the courtyard, I think last Thursday. And I just want to reiterate my previous thoughts. A lot of people retiring, and every one of them is going to be a huge loss to this district. I wish them the best in their futures. At the same time, there are going to be so many retirements over the next several years that I will tell that I just know we are going to miss these people. They have been a huge part of the fabric of this district, and I think we need to recognize that. While we were sitting there at that ceremony, I was looking at the program, and I suddenly realized we had a 40-year employee, Sylvia Solorio, a para-educator from Pioneer Elementary School, and she wasn't there because she was at her school site coordinating the YMCA program in the afternoon, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, and 40 years. That just did not seem right to any of us. The next morning, Zesty and I, after a mild bit of collusion, showed up and presented her with flowers, a gift card, and then her plate, her glass plate from the district. I had her 40-year glass plate, and I will tell you, she was very clearly, she did not look like a 40-year employee. Her energy level looked like she had just been hired. And so just a shout out to Sylvia Solorio. And I will tell you, in the future, when we have a 40-year employee, we need to have the principal order them to attend the ceremony because we all need to recognize them. Right after the honoring our own ceremony, I went to the Classroom of the Future Foundation Award ceremony at SeaWorld, where our expanded learning program was honored as just typically as an exemplary program across the district. And so congratulations to them. I did indeed go to the community schools event yesterday at Orange Glen Elementary and learned that TTEE is indeed an abbreviation for trustee. I certainly had never known that before. And I'll just second that. That was obviously a lot of work, and I think you're absolutely right. That just needs to be a package deal that is handed out to the other schools so anybody, here's who you call, here's how you do this, here's how you set it up, so we're not reinventing the wheel at 16 different schools. I spent quite a bit of time last night talking with the MTSS from Rose Elementary School about their sustainability plan. I'll be attending one of their upcoming community school advisory committee meetings just to hear more about the sustainability, because sustainability within the community schools program has to be our primary focus, and I know you all agree with that. Looking forward to doing my ACE job shadow. I do everything late, right? I do everything when I don't have babies, so that's going to be tomorrow. I'll be with a paraeducator over at Del Dios tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
So, good thing there are 5 of us to be spread around. I was happy to represent the board along with Mrs. Harper at the last STAR Superintendent's Advisory Roundtable meeting of the year, and it was basically a promise to continue the program and to flesh it out more in the next school year. So we're looking forward to that, and hoping that people will come back and participate. And I also was happy to be at the Honoring Our Employees Garden reception, and was impressed by the number of 20 and 30-year employees, let alone the 40-year employee, and to honor the teachers and the classified employees of the year from each school, and then from the district, and also honoring Patrick as the district employee of the year. So it was a lovely event, short and sweet. And also, Andrea did a beautiful synopsis of what the community event was, and what I liked about it was that it combined that with an open school night. And so the parents not only got to see, a lot of the vendors were really geared to filling social emotional needs, and also to help families who are struggling through the difficult financial times as well. So I picked up some good information. I picked up a disaster ready guide, which I'm going to use, which helps prepare for disasters like fires or earthquakes that might come, having to go, and the documents that we need to assemble to have ready to go, and things that if we have to stay at home and our water supply is cut off, and the food to have on hand. Anyhow, it's a really good guide. And also, Compact had a booth set up called Families First, and I was told by a young man at that booth that they are flush with a grant, and they're looking for families to apply. And it's for utility assistance, rental and mortgage assistance, wraparound case management offering, long-term coordination and accountability. So it's something to look into for those even in our district who are struggling. I want to pass that on. And then there was this one I was really interested in. New Hope Music Studio was offering piano lessons. And there are very low cost was stressed to me, and there are scholarships available even if the parents cannot afford it. And starting at 7 years old, and as someone who was offered piano lessons at my elementary school in first grade, and I continued on until high school, I think it's a very valuable thing. So I hope, kept a flyer. I'm going to, anyone who's interested, I'd like to pass that information on, or maybe leave it with the district office. So if anyone within the sound of my voice is interested in passing that on to our parents, it would probably be appreciated. But getting back to Orange Glen Maple Park, and what you talked about too, it occurred to me we could register the participants with the district office. And once they're cleared, they're cleared. And so it's a one-stop, yes, we're going to be at such and such a school, but we have clearance. So I think that's a great idea. The Boy Scouts were there, they had a booth, the PTA had a booth, the library had a booth giving away free books. And then there was a table with free books. I imagine that was through the school. And then the piece de resistance, I had the opportunity to visit a second grade classroom with a window that overlooked the killdeer nest when they were there. And that class did a project on the killdeer, studied them, wrote essays about them. And when you talk about bringing back those skills, Mrs. Buford explained that not a picture goes up in her classroom unless it has writing to go with it. And I saw examples of that, example after example. And I was very, very pleased that and she actually shared that her 14-year-old son does not have a cell phone. So I thought that was really great, yeah. Anyhow, I was very impressed with that. I was impressed with the artwork and the volcanoes, the working volcanoes that were created. It was a very welcoming classroom. So I was happy that I had that opportunity. And to learn about the killdeer and the fact that the killdeer actually pretends to have a broken wing to lure predators away from the nest. Clever, very clever. Yes, yeah, yes, she told us about that. And what else? Oh, and there was a fire engine and a healthmobile, and as I said, Compact was there. Just a great program. Great to bring the parents out and getting them involved in their school, and then they could go on to go to their kids' classrooms as well. And the kids could go play on the playground in the meantime. Let's see, and then this morning I attended the May Revise, and this is something else that came up about the community schools, and so I would like to share the good news. The May revision maintains a $1 billion in new ongoing funds to expand the community schools model to support existing grantees and new community schools with a UPP, which is unduplicated pupil population of 65% or more. Close enough. The LEAs may retain up to 10%. Okay, an LEA with an eligible school must opt in to receive funds, and a new certification process will begin in 23-34. So the funds are ongoing until at least 2033 when you talk about continuity, and I thought you'd be happy to hear it. You know, oh, and then I spent a little time at Del Dios at the Americans on Display before our meeting tonight, and it was for a lot of kids, and some of them were very enthusiastic about the subjects that they studied, and I got to listen to a presentation on Helen Keller, but also one I've seen less often, which was Elizabeth Blackwell, who was the first American female doctor. And the young lady who did that, studied that, gave a wonderful presentation. I prepared a wonderful presentation, so I'm very happy. I never did find Dolly Madison, however, which made me sad. But, and Ben Franklin, of course, there were numerous Ben Franklins and George Washingtons, but as I said, Elizabeth Blackwell was a different one. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Frank?
Okay. So this morning I visited Central School. The TKs had a presentation, and the presentation was Mother Goose themed, and it was absolutely amazing. The kids were reciting not one, not two, not five, what, 20? Dusty? It was 35 minutes long. They were singing and reciting all of the nursery rhymes, and they knew them by heart. And in speaking with Miss Reyes and Miss Peralta, this was a 2-month venture for them, and it was absolutely amazing. And the work that they're doing with those kids at TK was just overwhelming. I mean, it was amazing.
I mean, everything was memorized.
Oh yeah,
It was
I mean,
unbelievable.
it was, and every TK had a part, so it wasn't just them standing up and reciting the poems and the nursery rhymes. It was just magnificent. I mean, I was in the back just enjoying myself thoroughly on it, and it was very nice for them to give us the heads up that they were doing this, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, also, I know that there's about less than 20 days left of school. How many? 14, okay. And it's interesting because when I was talking to Ms. Cortez, I asked her and she said, I don't know. And I said, I'm sure I could ask any teacher and she would give me the day and hour of when that final bell is. And we're in the finish, we're getting to the finish line, and I just cannot thank everyone, just all the work that you guys have done. It's been noticed. We appreciate all the work you do. And now the hard work starts, especially for Naomi and her group, because all of the cleaning, all of the getting ready for next year starts during the summer. So we appreciate that. You guys work very hard, and we thank you for the work that you do. And we be safe, and but we know it's going to be done properly, and we do thank you for all of that hard work. So just wanted to recognize your group and everything else. So they're ready? All right. And that's my report.
Just a few comments. Thanks, Frank. Just want to acknowledge, I know it's, like Frank said, school's coming to a close, and we have a lot of staff that are retiring or perhaps moving on to a different opportunity. I just want to, from my perspective, say thank you to all those and wish them well in whatever their next opportunity or next adventure may be. As well as, I want to congratulate Michael as well as Naomi. I wish them well in their new pursuits. And I also want to, we had a good discussion today with our administration or the district administration about how those positions are filled, and I think they really do a great job. And I want to acknowledge not just the cabinet, but all the staff members that are involved. I really appreciate that they include a cross-section of the staff across the district in some of those conversations, and I really think that that's a testament to why we have such great administrators. We have great individuals who are really caring about the sites, and I think obviously sometimes changes are difficult, and we have members of the community that are very attached, and I think that's a testament to how much our staff, each and every one of our staff members, care about the community and care about the students that they serve. And so I appreciate the process that we have in place, and I think it's great that we have a good blend of how those positions are filled, and it creates opportunities for the staff who want those. So I want to acknowledge the staff, and I appreciate kind of how that's been going through. Frank mentioned it. I think one of the most exciting times for me is the promotions at the end of this in school. But at the same time, I do realize to all the teachers out there, this is probably a time where there's a lot of amped up energy, and having a son who has extreme senioritis at this time, I just say thank you, and I ask you to hold on, and I appreciate every one of the teachers who are trying to get to the finish line, but at the same time, like Frank mentioned, I know a lot of work goes in both for the teachers as well as the classified staff to get ready for those promotions. I know it's a lot of hard work, and once those promotions are done, I know a lot of work then begins heavily for Noemi and the classified staff, so I want to acknowledge that on the front end. Once that's done, I know the real work really starts to line up, and so I hope that Mr. McGuire and your staff have some things in place to acknowledge and take care of those staff, and I hope that we can, as a board, be involved in that as well. So I think that's it. Just want to acknowledge those things and say thanks to everybody as we come to the end of another exciting year. Thanks.
Thank you. I think we all matched up on most things this time around. I attended the STAR meeting, which I'm excited we're going to continue into next year and shaping this district. I really like the format and how you have the mix of everyone. I attended the Honoring Our Employees, where Dr. Ibarra got to ring the bell. Where's your bell?
On the mantle.
So he got to ring the retirement bell, which I know he was excited to do. And then we were also able to honor all of our long-standing employees and our employees of the year, but then also our admin of the year, Patrick. Congratulations again. It was great. It's always the best when we get to surprise you. I attended with Doug the Innovations in Education Awards, which again honored our expanded learning team. They are a great model for the county of how they're using those resources we've been given in an amazing way that affects so many of our students. So thank you again for all that you guys do. It's really fantastic. And Doug had the great idea of going to Pioneer and surprising Sylvia, who I know her principal tried really, 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 really hard to get her to go. She refused. She was so dedicated and felt they were short-staffed. But she had so much energy and so much passion for her position. But she did have a countdown, which I was happy about, on her phone for her retirement, which is in 2 years, 11 months, similar to what Dr. Ibarra has. Not quite down to the seconds yet, but so that I appreciate all her years of service and still her enthusiasm. And we won't mention the chalkboard that Doug broke or may not have broken in a classroom. So beware if you invite him into your classroom. So anyway, sorry. I also was at the street fair, the Escondido Street Fair on Sunday, and I was able to stop by the booth that Expanded Learning had and the preschool as well. So that was great. They had great activities that really engaged children that walked by. I mean, when I went, the booth was full of kids, and they were out. Caesar was out talking to different families, and so it was a great outreach event because there was a lot of people there this year at the street fair. It was really well attended, so I'm glad we had a presence there. And then again, ACE Day, I was able to shadow Abby. She is a para at Bear Valley, and she was pushed into different classrooms throughout the day and how she handles those students and really is mindful of what they need and the extra effort she takes to make sure they have a successful day. I really appreciated that about her. She's studying for her master's in social work at the same time as she's working for us. So, I mean, she works in the day and then she goes and does her internship hours in the evenings, which is amazing. So we're really lucky to have her. So again, I really appreciate any of our ACE, of our classified staff that volunteer, because I know it's scary and we're not trying to do a gotcha. It's really so we know what you go through on a day-to-day basis, and it really is eye-opening, and I really appreciate you putting that together and the effort it takes. And then we had the luncheon to accompany it so we could all share what everyone learned. It was some great stories. Unfortunately, Dr. Ibarra didn't get put on a roof or in a sewer pipe this time, but nothing dangerous for him. But again, we have such a range of our classified employees and what they have to do. And so again, thank you for putting that together. I also attended with Frank the TK program at Central, which was fantastic. They were adorable. And we stopped by Del Dios for the History Night, the Americans on Display, which it was great to see. And then I'll just echo you guys it's the end of the year. We won't have another meeting before the end of the year. And I'm even feeling it this year because we're all tired and we just have to push through for these next couple weeks. And I think we should have teacher and staff appreciation actually the first week after summer break starts, when all the kids are back home, and so they realize, oh yeah, the teachers were amazing and we should just send, we miss them very, very, very much. I know I feel that as a mom, that I'll have all three home this summer, but again, thank you guys again for pushing through this year. We can't do it without any of you, and I hope you hear us say that, but I also hope you see us show up and really and show up and show that we see you and we see what you're doing and that we do appreciate it, because words don't fill enough of that void. But again, thank you, and that is my report.
All right, yeah, 14 days to go, but who's counting? Now, for me, it's 36 days.
3 million seconds.
That's actually, I was teasing Mr. McGuire because I have this countdown that's got the days and down to the seconds, and it's 3 million seconds, which is pretty, wow. It used to be a lot longer when I started this countdown a few years ago, but no. No, I was really appreciative that we had ACE Week, and I had an opportunity to shadow Adriana Melendres, who's preschool para, over at Lincoln Elementary School in the preschool program. It was a full circle moment for me because when I was in college, I started as a part-time job in the child care center and became a preschool para first and then a preschool teacher as I was working for my credential to be a teacher. So I chose that with intention because I wanted to end my career with the littles. Everyone knows I'm a little impartial to the littles, having been a former kindergarten teacher as well. But it was exhausting, I'll be honest. Just to be back in the classroom with those littles, it's just boom, 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 boom. I did get admonished by a preschooler because, you know, I got a text and the emails don't stop coming. So I was checking my emails with kind of over, the kids, they were reading the story to them, and I had a preschooler say, "Teacher, no phones at school." So quickly put the phone away for the rest of the day. So, okay, no, it was a pleasure working with shadowing Adriana Melendrez, wonderful employees who also received her 30-year pin this year. So very dedicated, has been in preschool her whole career, and just loves it and does a wonderful job, as do all of our amazing employees. Just a full circle moment to just watch all of these, just what makes this district tick, and it's really the people. So for everyone that has 14 days left or 36 days, it's 15, yeah. It's been a wonderful pleasure working with all of you, and I will miss you. So thank you.
All right. So first of all, I just want a quick shout out to our Girls on the Run program. There was an event last weekend. We have like the most schools in that, like just a huge turnout. So that's an amazing program for our girls here. Also, I want to pile on about what happened at Orange Glen. That was last night. I know. How are you still awake? So I've been talking about, as long as you guys have known me here, but even longer in my life, about just the unfair negative attention or negative perception that people put on public education. And I always say the answer to that, the remedy to that, the antidote to that is for people to be inside of our fences, in our classrooms, on our campuses. And so I want to thank you, Andrea, and the other MTSS staff that have done these kind of things, and it's going to continue to grow. You absolutely have mine and all of our support in this. I know there's some technical things, and this is a new thing for us to really do. We're going to figure that out because this is something that we need to do all the time, because we need people to be in our campuses so they can see what really is happening there and the great work that's happening with our teachers, our classified staff, everybody involved in developing that next generation. And so absolutely thank you for what you did there. I know that the next time it's going to be even bigger. We have to start with something and give people something to want to be a part of, and you had a great start to that, and I know that it's just going to keep growing and growing. Obviously, we can't have everybody on campus while we're doing school, but definitely after hours, I think we're gonna see this as a much more common thing, and with your leadership and those that do that work at our schools. So thank you for that, and have a great end of the year. We're almost there. I know May is that trying time when kids are looking forward to summer. Everyone's looking forward to summer, but hang in there, and we're here to support you. And thank you for a great year. And I look forward to many more to come. I think I have billions of seconds left.
Yeah, don't even start.
You just started.
Billions. I look forward to every single one of them here in this district and with all of our students and staff and all of that. So thank you, and that's all I have. Zesty?
You're good? Excellent. Okay. Our next meeting is Thursday, June 18th at the Escondido Union School District Carolyn Gilbert Education Center. We do not need to return to closed session, so we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.